Welcome to Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald. Hey, that's me. Hi, and welcome to Positive Talk. Our show features the best positive stories and people from around the globe as we endeavor to answer the universal question of why am I here and what is my purpose? Understanding that can change everything, and knowing your greatness is fundamental to living your best life. So join us right now as together we work to create the adventure of our lifetime. And welcome to the show, everybody. My name is Kevin McDonald. Rochelle is here, and she is. Oh, she's the ghost-like person today, but. Rochelle, I would love for you to introduce our guest, and because he's got a great book that I subscribe to, and I value it highly because I think that we all do that. No, well, I hate to be absolutism because we shouldn't be, because it's not everybody, but a lot of people subscribe to the philosophy that this is so hard. So explain what we're doing here, Rochelle, today.
Yes, we are on the show with Angelo Valenti. He is an author, coach, psychological consultant, and has been through life himself in order to get here and learn these things, and understands that we're all human and we need each other, and that's what we're here for. So welcome, Angelo, and how are you today?
I'm terrific, and thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
And the name of the book that you've written, and you've got a course that is coming soon that we're going to talk about as well. You're making this way too hard. Yes. And the subtitle is find your easy way to enjoy life.
Right. Can I show people the book? There it is, right there.
There it is. Absolutely. And why do we make it so hard?
Well, I think, for some people, they actually believe life is supposed to be hard. It's not supposed to be easy. I don't know where they come to that conclusion, but I think people make things hard because a lot of times they don't trust their instincts, they get in their own way, or they spend an inordinate amount of time either listening to other people or comparing themselves to other people, which is a recipe for disaster. I firmly believe that if you're going to compare yourself to anybody, you should compare yourself to the person you were yesterday and just try to be a little bit better every day, a little bit happier every day, rather than comparing yourself to other people, because you really don't know what's going on in their life other than what you see or what they let you see.
You know, it's really insidious that people tend to value other people's opinion of them more than they value their own opinion of them.
That's true. And it is insidious. And I think people, if you want, one of the best ways to be happy is to feel good about yourself. And one of the easiest ways to feel good about yourself is say good things about yourself to yourself. It's okay to compliment yourself. Yeah. Everybody does something worthwhile, meaningful, joyful every day, and there's nothing wrong with patting yourself on the back and saying, "Good job, I did good."
Well, the reality is sometimes nobody else is going to tell you that. Right. But if you feel in your heart, in deep inside, and you've got that special feeling of pride about something that you've done, you either have been kind to somebody, or you did a job particularly well, or you just made it out of bed that day. All of that is important, and so we have to pat it. You know, when I was a kid, I was a ball player and stuff, and my parents would say, "Well, don't break your arm patting yourself on the back and stuff." And they said, "You could have done this better, and you could have done that better and stuff," because they didn't want me to get a big head. And that just so it ended up being a negative, not even a compliment. Wasn't a positive.
Right. Well, I go ahead. I'm sorry. Sorry to interrupt.
Go ahead.
I was going to say I think it's important to compliment yourself. Yeah. I think it's important to recognize when you've accomplished something, even if it's very small. And it's okay to recognize when maybe you didn't do something as well as you could have either. But if you look at it as, okay, what did I learn from this and how can I do it better the next time? Then it's, it's not a mistake. It's a learning experience.
Rochelle?
Yeah, I just was thinking, Kevin, because maybe a different way that you could approach it so you don't have your kid, just completely egotistical and pride driven, but rather to teach them that it is good to be able to compliment yourself, because then they aren't dependent upon other people to give that to them. Because a lot of times when they don't have that, then they go into the other route of it, which is seeking that. I know I did that as a kid, just trying to get attention. Hello, I'm here. And maybe that could be a better way to help. What do you think of that, Angelo?
Oh, I think you're exactly right, and it's natural for children to seek attention, especially in some households they don't get enough attention, so they're seeking it from their peers or their teachers or some other source. But I think if you approach every day feeling good about yourself and having a positive attitude, it's easier to tackle whatever challenges come along, and not everybody's going to have the best day all the time. I mean, into each life, a little rain must fall. But if you approach it with a positive attitude, you've got a better chance of working your way through it.
Right. Grow the flowers, not the weeds.
Yes.
And sometimes you got to pick the weeds to make the flowers grow too.
Yeah.
And so, Angelo, you've written a book, and in the process of doing that and before that, what was your motivation? Did you feel like, because you are a psychological coach as well, did you feel like people were not doing as well as they could and were taking a negative approach to things? What was your kind of your motivation?
Well, my motivation was I work in my primary job is as a consultant to businesses, and I work with leaders in a variety of industries, some companies, some big companies, some small companies. And I noticed that a lot of people in leadership roles or business owners who had what society would consider all of the trappings of success still weren't enjoying themselves very much. And it got me thinking, why are they not enjoying themselves? So I started ruminating on that and came to the conclusion that stuff isn't what makes people happy. I just kind of built it out of there.
Are you familiar with George Carlin?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, well, and he had the skit about stuff, and he was such a wordsmith. And it was like, okay, you get some stuff, and then you have to get a bigger house to put your stuff in, and then you outgrow your house that you're in because you got more stuff, and then you have to get a bigger house. And he had a whole skit about that, because that is so true. And why is it that I have relatives that when they're depressed, they go shopping so they can buy something because that makes them feel better? Is that a thing?
Well, yeah, it's called retail therapy, and it's
wow,
it's a thing. It's not necessarily a productive thing, because going out and buying yourself a little bauble or a trinket makes you feel good for a little while. It's like a sugar rush. It's like eating cotton candy. It gives you a nice sugar rush, but a few minutes later, you're right back where you were. And the example I like to give about that is, think back 10 years ago to something expensive or something that you always wanted that you bought for yourself. It's unlikely that you can even think of what that is. But if you can think of what it is, think, do you still have it? Does it still give you the same feeling that it did when you bought it 10 years ago? And then compare that to a trip you took maybe to Europe or to Hawaii or to Yellowstone National Park, whatever it was, with friends or family. And it was it was a terrific trip. It was meaningful to you. You took that trip 10 years ago, and I guarantee you're going to remember who you were with, what you saw, where you stayed, what you ate, what the highlights were. That's going to stay with you. Experiences stay with you much longer than trinkets do. So if you're going to spend your money, spend it on experiences. Don't spend it on stuff.
Well, it was really cool. Rochelle lives in Utah, and she came to visit me. I live in Seattle, and her family came for like 3 or 4 days. They had the best time, didn't you, Rochelle?
Yeah, we did. Seattle is a beautiful place, and I think anywhere new has lots of beauty to it if you see it in the right view.
Right.
And I bought Kevin lots of little things.
She bought me trinkets, and
Well,
one of which I still have here. Oh! We can't lose that. And it's they gave me Kevin Boulevard.
Kevin Boulevard, nice.
Yeah.
And this was down. Oh, and there's also on my desk somewhere is a. Remember the pine cone you gave me?
Oh yes. You see, that's where I like the giving, Angelo, is in the experience. It's not something that you can buy. It's, maybe a leaf or a
Oh,
stick
sure.
or something like that really has that meaning to it. And as you were talking about all these things, I was thinking about how important it is for us to spend more of our time on our experiences than the things. And in the work that you've done with people, do you find that there's been specific things that help them cope, which is what I would kind of say, maybe the spending money or eating cotton candy or whatever it is that you're choosing to do that is bringing you back to the same place every time, but you still continue to do it. That once you get out of that routine, is there different coping mechanisms that really, really tend to help people that you've noticed?
Well, the first thing you have to do is recognize that what you're doing isn't working for you long term. And that's
Right.
for some people, that's a real hard thing for them to come to that realization.
Yeah.
But what it's like a habit, and the best way to break a bad habit is to replace it with a better habit.
Uh-huh.
So I kind of encourage it depends on the individual. I'll encourage them to explore other ways to get that dopamine hit other than retail therapy or other than being extravagant in ways they don't need to be extravagant. And if they can find that, it might be for some people it's exercise, for some people it's reading, for some, it varies from person to person. For me, it's golf.
Yes.
But there are other ways to get that same sense of satisfaction that lasts longer and is healthier than just going out and buying something because you're lonely or depressed or because you can.
Like blowing something up. I'm just kidding.
I didn't hear that.
I don't think I can't believe she said that. But by the way, Rochelle, I'm talking about your trip to Seattle. Do you remember when you put a leaf in my CD player?
Yes, I do remember that. Do you still have it?
It's still there.
Good job,
Because
Kevin.
that didn't become a thing. It became a example of the experience that we had together. So it was great.
Yeah, well, and my intention in that was protection of you when you're in your vehicle and you're driving around and things that you're doing. And I think that should be also with when you're giving somebody something or giving yourself something, what is the intention behind it? Because it doesn't mean it's bad to gift yourself.
Oh,
or
no.
like you said, to pat yourself on the back, but the intention behind it, right?
Right. Oh, sure. And actually, I think it's a great idea every once in a while to reward yourself for a particular job well done or
Yeah.
something that you're particularly proud of. But when it becomes just doing it out of habit or doing to get that quick fix, that's when it becomes a problem.
Well, and that relative that I was telling you about that likes to go shopping, they called me a month or so later and they said, "You wouldn't believe the credit card bill I just got."
There you go.
And it's like, well, did you spend that money? And said, well, yeah, I was kind of depressed. And so I went and I thought it would make me feel better, but it didn't. I don't even know where it is today, kind of thing. And you're exactly right, Angelo. But why do we do that to ourselves? Is that just part of the human condition, or is it something that's been pre-done for us based upon the past that we've gone through and the stories that people have told us?
Well, Kevin, I want him to be able to fully explain that. So let's take this quick break so we don't get chewed on. And I wanted to say firsthand too that it kind of reminds me, Angelo, of when you're cleaning your room and you find all these things. Next thing you know, you have a hat on and one shoe and maybe a boot on the other foot and a skirt on, and you find these things and it brings up those memories. So I want you to have the time to fully answer that question. And Kevin, will you take us to break?
I'll take us to break, and then Angelo, when we come back, you can ask us when the last time you wore a skirt was. We'll be right back.
You became a real estate agent for freedom, success, and real momentum. So why are you still stuck waiting for closings to save you? I'm Ophir Adar, founder of Real Momentum, and I help agents like you become seven-figure earners. My first client that I coached, brand new agent, made $250,000 back in 2006. What's the secret? You feed your white wolf. That's the part of you that's bold and unstoppable and a closer and able to build rapport quickly. So click Get Listings at Real Momentum and let's unleash your real estate potential.
And welcome back to Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald. Rochelle is here incognito, and Angelo Valenti is here. He is an author. He's a coach. He does all kinds of really cool stuff, and he's got a book out, which is called I love the title of this because You're Making This Way Too Hard, and find your easy way to enjoy life. And I love the way that you spelled enjoy. There's a story behind that, I'm told. Can you tell that story?
I'd be happy to. The way I spelled it is NJOYLFE, enjoy life. And the reason I did that is because that's my actual license plate. I've had that license plate since 1991. I've had it on every car I've had since 1991, and I've had a lot of cars since 1991. I like cars. So I had it. One of the impetuses for writing the book was about 5 or 6 years ago. I had a Mercedes SL convertible that I parked in the parking lot of a casual dining restaurant, and I went inside to pick up my to-go order. And when I came back, there was a note on my windshield that said, I'd enjoy life too if I had millions in the bank and drove a $110,000 Mercedes. And I looked around because I really wanted to talk to that person and let them know that they had cause and effect backwards. I don't enjoy life because of whatever stuff I have. I have whatever stuff I have because I enjoy life. I think you got to be first before you can have. So that really is kind of my philosophy of life, is to enjoy life, and then good things are more likely to come your way if you're going through life with a joyful spirit. And that includes being joyful toward other people, having a positive attitude, being polite, being friendly, being caring, being compassionate. So that's why I spelled it that way in the book. And it's still my license plate. And after all this time, I still get comments from people at the car wash or at a grocery store or wherever. They'll compliment me on the license plate, and I open up my trunk and I give them a book.
Oh, that's very cool. And by the way, Rochelle, do you remember where you were in 1991?
Yes, but no.
She was born in like 2001.
Hey, now. I'm a 99. I'm still in the 19s, so don't do me in like that.
Oh, okay.
Still makes us feel old for sure.
Yes, that 1 year counted. Come on.
Well, and she is just dynamic, and one of these days we'll actually see what she looks like. That would be cool. But in any event, Angelo, you wrote the book, and it's been out a couple of years now. How is it doing?
It's doing great. It's doing fine. Got a lot of nice reviews on Amazon. I've had people email me, tell me that my little book actually had a positive impact on their life. One of my former clients read it and sent me the best note that said, your book has encouraged me to find a job that gives me more satisfaction. I'm going to graduate school. I'm going to get my master's degree, and I'm going to start enjoying life a little bit more. And that was shortly after the book came out. So it's been almost 2 years, and he started his own business, and it's doing great. Honestly, I don't know whether he ended up getting his master's degree or not. He probably did, but that little impetus was all he needed to get him off of stuck and onto something that's given him a much more satisfying life.
You know, I don't understand, but I get, well, I do. And I don't get it, but I do understand it. And that is, why not relax and enjoy life? Because quite frankly, you're not going to get out of it alive anyway. No. And so you might as well enjoy it while you're here, because that is how it was intended for us to be, isn't it?
I believe it is. Yes. I think this is not a dress rehearsal. This is it. This is all you're getting. You're on every day when you wake up, you're on stage, whether you know it or not. That's your day for the day. I mean, and you're never going to get it back. So you might as well make something interesting or enjoyable or fun or relaxing, something out of that day, because you're never going to get back. That's it.
Well, and I have to tell you, there was a coach in my neck of the woods. He coached at Pacific Lutheran University. His name is Frosty Westerling. And he had a saying. And the saying was, make it a great day. And he would go to his football team every day. And he was a nationally recognized coach and is in the Hall of Fame now mostly because of his positive attitude and how he affected the team in a really positive way. That, I think, adds to your legacy a lot more than if you're a negative Nilly, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, my high school baseball coach was, like Frosty, was kind of a legend in Ohio and my neck of the woods where I grew up. And one of the things that he insisted on, is as a team, we're only going to cheer for our team. We're not going to cheer against the other team. So we weren't allowed to say anything negative about the other team. All we were doing was encouraging each other to play the best that we could play. And I really believe that's a wonderful philosophy. Rather than, a lot of people think that if they can tear somebody down, somehow it makes them rise up, and it just doesn't.
No, it just makes everybody feel crappy.
Right.
Because I cannot believe that you can be disrespectful or crappy to another human being and actually feel good about it. You may think you feel good about it, but deep down inside in your heart, you don't feel good about it.
No, you can't possibly if you're a decent human being. And there are some people that just aren't decent human beings. Those people do exist.
Yeah, that's true. It's unfortunate, and I tell you what, if you could give them your book, maybe that would change them a little bit. Do you think?
Well, sure. Let's find them, and I'll be happy to give them.
Brichelle, I don't know about you, but I don't want to talk to those people because they bring me down, and I don't need to be brought down. I need to be uplifted.
You You know what's crazy, Kevin, though, is because that's what they're doing to themselves on the inside. I think, Angelo, one place that this book would be amazing for is like in the jails and in rehab centers and for people who are really just struggling, but also does it have to be that hard? Because a lot of times when you look inside yourself and you realize, damn, I have control of this and I'm the one who's making this actually to the difficult point that it is, it doesn't need to necessarily be that way and I can choose that. And I mean, some people don't deal with that well, but I think it could be helpful. What do you think?
Well, I think I have a whole chapter in my book about taking control, and one of the first things that you have to do to recognize is you are today the product of every decision you've made up to now.
Yeah.
All of those decisions have gotten you to that point. So if you're wondering why you're in the situation you're in, don't blame anybody else but yourself, because you made the decisions that put you in where you are today, good, bad, or indifferent. And sometimes it's a painful thing to admit, but it also gives you the control to change the trajectory of your life, because you can start making better decisions,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
And if you change the decisions you make, you'll change your outcomes.
Mm-hmm.
And you mentioned people in prison or in rehab. I have a great story. One of my very dear friends, his son was on a very destructive path with drugs, and he finally said, I need help or I'm going to end up dead. So
Yeah.
he went to a rehab center, then he went to a sober living center and turned his life around to the point where he now owns a sober living center in Atlanta and is helping people who were in his situation turn their life around. Now,
Right.
if that isn't a success story, I don't know what is.
Yeah. And that's what we're here for, is to give back. Our experiences are to teach us so that we can live that on and teach other people, maybe lessen the blow a little bit for them. And me and Kevin, that's why we're here. We truly believe that, because we can also help not make it harder for other people while we're experiencing life as well. Kevin, don't you agree with that?
Oh, absolutely. And we can be a shining beacon. Who was it that said a shining beacon of hope? They might not see it today, but eventually they will see the light of that beacon of hope and that beacon of light. Because if you can do that, and I've been accused, Angelo, of being way too positive and Pollyanna-ish, and not dealing with all of life, which really isn't the case. I just choose to look at it a little bit differently.
You're exactly right. I mean, are there problems around? Sure. But how you approach those problems makes all the difference. I mean, go ahead, be accused of being too positive. What's the alternative? Walking around negative all the time? People don't want to be around negative people unless they're negative themselves. You know, the old saying, misery loves company, is wrong. Misery loves miserable company. They don't just love happy company.
I love that. Brachelle's in the process of writing that down, because we're gonna steal that from you and put it someplace.
Yes, we are.
It's right. It's a line in my book. That's okay. You can have it. But it's true. And I firmly believe that if you want, one of the easiest ways to change your life is change the people that you associate yourself with. If you want to be happier, go hang around happy people. If you want to be successful, hang around successful people. If you want to be smarter, hang around smart people.
And you know what ends up happening is the people that you used to associate with were not very happy, and they're going to go, my, boy, he's changed.
He's changed, right? And
he's
they're
a
right.
lot happier, and you feel good about it. Then they will change with you or they will not. That's up to them. It's not your choice.
That's right. People move in and out of your life all the time. Some people move in and stay a long time, and some people are just like ships passing in the night. They're They're there for a while and then they're not there because that relationship didn't serve either party to their benefit.
And we need to take a quick break, but I want to ask you about that when we come back, Angelo. Why, if it's something within, or if it's something maybe on the outside, where people struggle so much with separation, because we take everything so serious and so personal, like so extreme, and being able to step away from that, but also for there to still be meaning and understanding. I want to see what you have to say if we deep dive on that a little bit, if that's
Sure.
okay.
Sure.
And by the way, Angelo, this is our third podcast of our radio show of the day. And the first one was Nina was here, and it's our own decisions that get us there. And so it will be our decisions to get us out.
Absolutely.
Amen. Hi, Nina.
And so we've had, I got to tell you, we have had an absolutely phenomenal day. There's just one thing missing of this entire day.
Amen.
And we'll be, we need to take this break and before I get into more trouble than I'm already in, and we will be right back. So please stay with us. This is our halftime break. It's just 1:10, and we'll be right back.
You're listening to Brushwood Media Network, the best in syndicated talk, news, and entertainment shows.
As you go about your daily life, look closer. As you gather with family and friends who love and support you, look closer. There are youth right in your community who don't have the home, warmth, and healing you have. So look closer. Every year across America, a staggering 4.2 million youth are homeless or trafficked. And for 50 years, Covenant House has worked relentlessly to keep them safe and protected. Tonight, 2,000 young people will sleep safely in a Covenant House bed. And tomorrow, they will wake up surrounded by love. They get clean clothes, hot meals, medical care, and a safe place to sleep. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. In sites across America to help them fulfill the great promise of their lives. So look closer at Covenant House. To help or get help, go to covenanthouse.org.
And welcome back to Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald and Burchelle. And our guest today is Angelo Valenti. He's got a book. I'm amazed that I can even say that, aren't you, Burchelle?
Yes, you're doing such a good job today. I'm so impressed.
And he's written the book, You're Making This Way Too Hard. Find Your Easy Way to Enjoy Life. And this is a book that Angelo Valenti has out there. It's been out a little while. And you can go to Amazon and everywhere else to find it. And if you want to go to his website, angelovalenti.com is where you go. And you can find out all about him and his coaching and the courses. And we're going to talk about this new course that you are putting together. Is that correct, young man?
It's actually live. It's available right now. Just went live a couple weeks ago. And it's based on the principles in my book. And the book is really a why to, and the course is a how to.
That's beautiful.
Because I had to keep things pretty general in the book because I was trying to appeal to a wide audience. And the course is an opportunity for people to take those principles and apply them into their own life. I've got exercises. It's basically 8 coaching sessions with me for less than the cost of less than half of one coaching session with me one-on-one live.
Well, that's really cool. Now, is that a virtual course?
Yes. It's an online course. They can buy it on my website, angelovalenti.com. I've also got a little self-assessment giveaway. Are you making life more complicated than it needs to be? And if they download that, they can take that self-assessment and find out what areas of their life they really are overcomplicating. And that's a good good way for them to get into the course with an idea of what they should really be focusing on.
Angelo, I gotta. Can I share this story with you?
Sure. It's your show.
Well, not today. It's the Angelo Valenti show. But I wanted, when I first met Rochelle a year and a half or so ago, she was, in a word, scattered. She was concerned about stuff. She was concerned about the future. She was stressed about the past. She was stressed about this and the other thing. And I said, it's awfully hard to live stress like that, isn't it? And she said, yeah, but I don't know anything. And so I said, well, just follow the gospel according to Paul McCartney. And that's just let it be. And she learned over time. She put that on her mirror when she understood what the significance of that was. And then I told her the story behind it, and it meant so much to her at that point. You still use that, don't you, Rochelle?
I do. And other people's cars and other people's houses I've put them in haven't even erased them, even if they moved. So whoever got to clean that house next got to see it on the mirror and wonder what it was, but it stayed with them. And it really seems so simple, Angelo, but it has such a great impact, just as that one little thing that goes off in your head regularly throughout the day. It alters everything.
Well, people get caught in an endless loop of worrying about things they have no control over, arguing with people about things they have no control over. You're never going to change somebody's mind by arguing with them, especially online.
Yeah.
And if people would just say, it is what it is, so be it, let it be, they'd walk away much happier, and they wouldn't be carrying around that burden with them every day, waiting, the 30 minutes later, they say, gee, I wish I'd have said that. Darn. Right? So if you let it be, you can just go on with your day.
It's really them. It's sad because then it carries judgment, and it also a lot of times is really only a reflection of what they feel against themselves. And Kevin has a commercial based on kindness, and I thought about earlier, kill him with kindness. And what does either person lose or sacrifice when it comes to being kind? If anything, you both have to gain from it because there is no other option.
No,
So I think that's
right.
powerful.
Yeah, kindness and politeness is a big part of kindness in my world. I was
Respect,
raised by my grandmother, who insisted that I show politeness and kindness and good manners, say please and thank you. One of the things I love about living in Nashville is people say yes, ma'am, no, sir. They tend to be a little bit more polite than other places in the country. But kindness has a multiplying effect. If you're kind to somebody, that person is more likely to be kind to someone else. It's a pay it forward thing.
Exactly.
And if you set an example of kindness, you'll be amazed at how people will be drawn to you like a magnet.
Yeah.
That is so true, and it doesn't take anything. When you think about it, it doesn't take anything. It doesn't. You you don't have to dig into your wallet. I promise. You don't have to go find stuff. All you have to do is smile and say hi.
Right. And if you go even just a little bit beyond that, and let's say you're at the grocery store and you see somebody, maybe I hate to use the word elderly because there aren't that many people more elderly than me at this point, but putting their groceries in their car and they've got the basket, the grocery cart with them. If you just, when they're done putting their groceries away, if you just grab that cart and put it in where the carts go and say, let me get that for you.
Yeah.
It's nothing to you. And maybe it's nothing to them either, but it's going to be something to them because they're not going to be used to it. and it might put a smile on their face.
And the interesting thing about that, Angelo, like I said, I drove a bus for 12 years, and I would say something kind to somebody that maybe nobody had talked to or nobody had smiled at in 2 days because they were homeless and they were lonely and stuff. And that meant it was easy for me. It was, hey, how you doing, man? And to them, it was like,
Why are you talking to me?
yeah. Well, some of them did that, but they a lot of them took it like, wow, thank you. I am not less than at this moment,
Right.
and because they're going to go elsewhere and be less than, but at this moment they're an equal, and we all are equal to each other.
We are at one level, but everybody's unequal at other levels. And I'm talking about strengths, weaknesses, advantages, disadvantages, but how you use, let's say you have, for example, I played sports growing up, but I never got tall enough to play big time sports. So that was a disadvantage I had. But an advantage I had was I was good academically. So I decided to use the advantage I had to pursue an advanced degree rather than dwelling on the fact that I never got big enough to play big time sports. Everybody, if they should realize that they have certain advantages and to use those advantages to the benefit of themselves and other people, and not dwell on their disadvantages. And so many people today insist on dwelling on what they don't have instead of relishing and taking advantage of what they do have.
It is so important. And well, I'm like you. I was an athlete when I was growing up. My problem was I couldn't hit a curveball. And so that was the end of that. But I also was not academically strong because I found out for whatever reason. And but that does not mean that did not dictate my life's path. I've been a national sales manager and I've done all kinds of stuff that's because in many ways it's because of my positive attitude.
Right. Well, that's one of your advantages.
Yes.
And you chose to take that advantage and do something with it. And
that's exactly right.
And it changed the whole trajectory of your life. There are, believe me, so many people sitting around going, boy, I could have been something if I could just hit a curveball. Or if this hadn't happened to me, or if that hadn't happened to me, or if my parents, did this, or somebody, blame everybody but themselves. And if they would just focus on the God-given talents that they have, and everybody has them, they'd be much better off.
Well, and a lot of times those experiences that happen to us are what lead us to realizing the greatness that we have. They happen for us, like me and Kevin tend to say. And if you choose not to look at it that way, then yeah, it's not going to be that way because whatever you tell your brain, you're right.
Yep.
And
Henry Ford said that, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. Yeah.
Yep.
It's funny. It's funny because I've known, like I said, Rochelle about a year and a half. Well, I met her parents, and they don't get me quite yet because they don't understand because it's a completely different way of living a life. Would that be true, Rochelle?
Yeah, for sure. I know that it's the way that it's been able to teach me and change me, and being able to do this work with Kevin and to learn these things and to incorporate that into who I am. I realized that there's really not much that I need to say. I just need to be, and I just need to do. Hey, there it is, Kevin, let it be. And then, other people kind of see that. And I think what's really hard is getting attached to really wanting people to come along this journey with you. And sometimes it is okay to keep them there just at a healthy space and distance. And I think boundaries is a huge thing when it comes to evaluating who you are and how you want to change your life and why. And I'm pretty sure, I'm guessing you talk about that in your book. So let's
I
take
do.
this break, and I'd love to hear what you have to say about that.
Great.
And we'll be right back. Angelo, I created this because I firmly believe it with all my heart. So listen to this. The strength of staying kind from your friends at Positive Talk Radio. Kindness is not weakness. It takes real strength to stay kind in a world that often rewards anger, ego, and control. Being kind means choosing to act from your values, not your wounds. It means showing grace even when no one's watching. But kindness doesn't mean being passive. It doesn't mean letting people take advantage of your time, your energy, or your peace. You can be kind and still say no. You have a soft heart with firm boundaries. The strongest people I know are the ones who choose compassion without losing themselves. They've been hurt. They've been tested. And still, they choose to love and lead and to lift others anyway. Kindness is not about pleasing everybody. It's about honoring who you are and how you treat others, even when it's hard. So stay kind, stay human, and stay strong. And always remember this: be kind to one another because each other's all we've got.
I love that.
And Angelo Valenti is our guest. See, you like that?
I love that. Absolutely.
It is a cornerstone of, I think, well, first of all, I know this to be true. If we all looked at kindness as a prerequisite for being human and for being all together, we would change the world.
We would. And unfortunately, we're bombarded on a daily basis with messages that are designed to keep us fighting with one another or to make us buy stuff. One of the, when you think about it, if you go on any social media app you want, and it's either commercials for something that they want you to buy or provocative posts that are designed to get some kind of reaction out of you. And that's what most people are spending their time looking at on a daily basis.
And sometimes it's even fighting and selling something.
At the same time, yeah.
Less filling, tastes great. Less filling, tastes great. That's Rochelle. I don't know if you know what that commercial is.
That's way past. No.
She
was a little infant.
No idea.
She's an infant.
I really don't know what you're talking about.
Or not even born when that came out.
It was Miller Lite versus Bud Light, and one was less filling, the other was tastes great, and then they would have an argument. And
are you glad that I didn't know that then?
Pretty much, yeah, I guess. Angelo, first of all, I want to thank you for being here and the work that you're doing, because your book and the work that you're doing with the program that you've created is going to help change the world. And the name of the book is "You're Making This Way Too Hard." Find your easy way to enjoy life. Because, at the end of the day, Angelo, isn't that really what it is all about? Isn't that why we have cruises that we go on and vacations and we have friends and family? We want to enjoy life. That's why we're here. But we make it so hard that a lot of us never even get to the point of, no, life is hard. It's terrible. It's a struggle all the time. And you're not going to be happy because you're always going to be struggling. I hate that attitude.
I do too. And you mentioned cruises or vacations. I mean, as a way of taking a break from reality and enjoying life for a few days. And I think you take your happiness with you wherever you go, and you take your pain with you wherever you go. So I think a vacation is just some way to enjoy life in a different locale. It's not changing your mindset. It's not changing anything about you as a person. But you know, to me, what's the alternative to enjoying life? I mean, you're here anyway. Why not have a good time while you're here?
That's it, and I hope that everybody wants to stay here for their entire life and beyond, and that kind of stuff. And I just wanted to mention this to you, Angelo, because I suspect that this is true for you. And that is, if you and I were to go sit down in a coffee shop or a decent restaurant, and the waiter or waitress came over and stuff, I'm willing to bet that you're going to be nice to them, even though they're serving you. That you're going to be nice to them, because I have worked with people. One of them was a big shot, big time guru kind of dude, and he was mean to the staff. He was treating them less than because they were just the waiter and they were just waiting on him. That was the last day that I talked to him, because that's not how I roll, and that's not appropriate. And I don't care who you think you are. You just proved who you really are.
Exactly. I try to be nice to everybody until they give me a reason to bite back a little bit. But no, I'm nice to everybody, and I'm especially nice to people who are doing things for me that I don't want to do for myself. When you're going out to a nice restaurant, somebody's cooking for you, somebody's bringing the food to you, somebody's bringing the drinks to you, somebody's bringing the bread, somebody's bringing the water. They're trying to make sure you're having a nice experience. And I want to be especially nice to those people, because while I'm having fun, they're working. So I'm a good tipper, and I'm nice to those people because I appreciate what they do for me. They're doing something for me, and I want to show that I appreciate it.
Exactly. And it's not because they're less than.
Oh, no.
They have this. I know guys. I was in the restaurant business, and I know people that were waiters and waitresses that were in college for their PhD and for their doctorate. And this is how they chose to make a living, because they could make a decent living doing that while they were in school. And yet they were treated poorly by people who did not understand and were making judgments about who they were when they had no basis for that judgment.
Can I tell you a quick story?
Please do.
Okay. There was a charity benefit at one of the big New York hotels. All of the big politicians and corporate bigwigs and entertainment people were there. And at the dais on top was the best of the best, the biggest of the biggest. Okay. So they're getting ready to serve dinner, and they're seated at their table, and a server comes by and puts one pat of butter on everybody's butter dish. And one of the big wigs says, "Could I have another pat of butter?" And the server says, "I'm sorry, I was told to just put one pat of butter on everybody's plate." So he says, "Do you know who I am? I'm chairman of the board of 12 companies. I've served 5 presidents and 4 governors. And who do you think you are?" And the server says, "Well, I'm the guy in charge of the butter."
You get him.
That's a great story.
Thank you. I like that one too.
Michelle, what do you think?
Yeah, that's powerful for so many reasons. I mean, he stood in his ground. He let somebody else try to come in and take his control and his energy of himself. It was almost like he probably thought he was going to get a reaction back, and that stunned him. And what's sad is it probably made him look really bad at the end of the day. And he probably thought about that, maybe even for the rest of his life. Like, wow, maybe if I would have just had some respect as a decent human being, he might have asked somebody if I could have another butter.
Right. A decent human being would have said, would it be okay if you went to your boss and asked if I could have a little bit more butter? And the guy would have run away and come back and loaded his plate full of butter. Yeah.
And I'm willing to bet that the people that were in the vicinity that heard this conversation were saying with that pompous ass he got what he deserved.
Exactly.
Well, and he also agreed to show up to this. And you know what? Even if the waiter had come back and said, you know what, sir, I found out that we only have the exact amount of butters for everybody who is here. And so if he would have given an extra one, somebody may not have had one. And that's where it goes to. We're all equal. And I don't care who you think you are, but this person isn't any less than you because they weren't in charge of one more person than you. So that's impactful, and I think we should put it on a screen and blow it up or make a movie of it.
Do you mind, may I tell that story? I want to make a post and be able to tell that story. Can I do that?
Sure.
And I'll credit you and I'll credit the book.
Yes,
when I put that together, because that is well, I'm sorry, but I'm the one in charge of the butter. I just love that. That is so funny.
And it's a good way to protect yourself and your boundaries too. If somebody wants to cross that, you know what? Well, I'm sorry you feel that way, but that's not the way that I do things here. And this is why. You could throw your fit and it'll get you absolutely nowhere with it. So thank you for sharing this time with us, Angelo. We're already running out of time. I can't believe me and Kevin have done 3 shows and all of them have been hugely impactful. But I want to give you the last few minutes to share anything with our listeners you'd like to leave them with for the week to think about. And the best way to contact you and find your book and get some knowledge from you.
Well, the best way to find a little bit more about me and find my book and find my course is to go to angelovalenti.com. If you decide you want to buy a book from my website, mention this show and I'll send you a signed copy for the price of a regular copy, which I usually charge more for. And I hope you'll go take a look at my course. It'll make a difference in your life. And if I could leave you with one thought, it's to realize that you are in control of your life. You can make whatever changes in your life you want to, if you want to badly enough. So just go out there, enjoy your life every day.
And Angelo, before we go, years ago, I was doing the show and we had folks from Gilda Radner's house, and that it was a cancer support center. Mm-hmm. And this lady was a four-time cancer survivor. And I said, how do you do it? How do you make it work? And she said, because I live day to day. And I said, day to day, explain. And she said, well, you know, if you've got one foot in the past and the other foot in the present or in the future, you're peeing on the present. So don't pee on the present. Live your life for today, because that's all you have. All you know you have is today. So relax and enjoy life, because the future will take care of itself. And if you do it in a proper, positive way, the outcome will be really good.
Yeah, something to look forward to.
Exactly. And again, go get his book, which is called You're Making This Way Too Hard. I just love the title. Find your easy way to enjoy life. Angelo Valenti has been our guest, and you're going to have to come back, Angelo. You are too much fun.
I'd love to. Anytime.
And Rochelle, thank you so much for being here and contributing. People are asking, where the hell is she? But that's
right here. Yeah. Thank you for having me here, Kevin, as always, and Angelo for your time. I think that your book can be majorly impactful to pretty much anybody who really just needs a boost in life and a better understanding of themselves and where you can actually start making some progress in that. So thank you for being who you are. And thank you, everybody, for listening in. Today's been super impactful. We've had an incredible week, and we'll be back again on Monday.
Thank you again.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald. Our purpose is to provide everyone with a positive, entertaining, and educational experience. I would love your feedback and comments about the show, including possible topics and great guest suggestions. Please email me at kevin@kmmedia.pro. And remember, be kind to one another, because each other's all we've got. That's Kevin.